Welcome to the Boston Makers Laser Cutting Tool Training. In this video, we're going to learn to use the Trotec Speedy 100 to cut ourselves out a badge from a pre-made vector file. Here we see the laser cutting station with the computer, the Speedy 100 laser cutter, and the ventilation system that we'll be using. First things first, let's turn on the computer. Enter our super secret password. Carry the 1, and there we go. Navigate to the Laser Cutter Tool Training folder on the desktop and open the logo disk CDR file for Corel Draw. This file should be all ready for us to print. Here you see the outer ring is RGB value completely red, 255, and the design itself with the lettering and the tools is completely black, or RGB value 000. More about that later. Let's turn on the Speedy 100. Find the switch in the top of the machine. Give it a flick. You should hear it start up. Slowly the bed will go all the way to the bottom of the machine. This is as it calibrates itself. When it's done doing that, you will have to then use the arrow buttons to move the bed back up closer to the laser head, but don't move it up too high. You still have to focus it, and we'll get to that in a bit. For our badge, we'll be using 1/8 inch plywood, hobby ply. You may choose to cover the surface of your wood with painter's tape, that blue tape you find in hardware stores for painting. This would protect it from creosote. Simply cover the surface of your wood with this tape, and that will protect it as it's being cut. If you don't like sanding, the tape will protect the surface of the wood from the smoke. It'll save you on lots of sanding later. Here you can see I'm using the arrow key to move the bed back into position. I just need to get it a little closer to the laser head so I can use the calibration tool, but not too close. I need to give it enough room to dangle the calibration tool off of the side of it. Now I'm going to get the calibration tool from this little box. This should always be left in the upper left-hand corner of the laser cutter. Very important. Here you see this little brass protrusion here. I'm going to hang it on the edge of the laser cutter, like so. It should dangle freely. Now I'm going to feather the up button until it just tips it and it falls off, like so. There we go. Immediately I'm going to take this tool and put it right back in its case, because we always want to be able to find this. Now I'm going to move the laser cutter into position on my wood, and I'm going to go to Print in Corel Draw. The print settings come up. I'm going to make sure the Trotec engraver is chosen for my printer. And I can go into Properties, and here we should have job size limited to file. And there you'll see if we don't limit the job size, then it could be too large for the laser bed. And here we're going to choose the training settings. And within training settings, we're going to choose 1/8 inch plywood. And when we're done with that, we're going to hit the JC button down below, and that'll save it to the job control. Here you see it laid out in the middle, and we can change the layout. I personally like to have the layout so it goes to the upper left-hand corner. That's just me. That helps me to figure out where my job is going to be lined up. With that set, I'm going to say print. That's going to send it over to job control. If I switch over to job control, it should show up on the right hand side here. I'm just going to drag it over to the crosshairs. It should snap into place, and I can zoom in a little and hit WYSIWYG. That'll show me what my design is. What you see is what you get. And if I click on the job itself, you see it shows up down below next to the play button there. And here we have our settings up top. And it should tell you how fast it's going, how intense it's going, to cut, both for your engrave and your cut. And here you see we have a black and red. The black pass, of course, is engrave, and the red pass is cut. And it estimates how long it's going to take. I can open up the settings and go in and make sure the settings are as they should be. And remember, if you change something here, it will permanently change it in our default settings. So be careful not to change it unless you really know you want to. Turn on the ventilation. That's very important. If you don't have the ventilation on, you better know where the fire extinguisher and the exit is. We also have tongs to grab pieces of work that have burst into flames. So turn on that ventilation. And we're about ready to cut. Hit the play button, and it should send the file over to the Trotec engraver. Any moment now, you'll see it jump into action. First, you see the smoke coming out here. I did this for illustrative purposes. This is what it looks like when you don't have the ventilation on. There you see I turned it on and now it's all sucked away. Very important, make sure you are looking at your file as it cuts. Watch the laser engraver. Make sure that your ventilation is on, make sure it's not bursting into flames. And the first pass is the etching. This is our RGB value 000. That's the design that says Boston Makers with the tools. And then it'll move, once it's done with this, to the red pass, which is RGB value 255. And it's going to cut a circle, and in Corel we made our circle a hairline. Very important that it's set to hairline width. And there we are, we're done. Very quick. Move the laser head to the side, out of the way, so you don't nick it when you pull it out of the cutter. And now we're just going to peel off our tape. There you see on the edge where the smoke started to seep in a little bit. This tape will protect the wood from that a lot. And then we're just going to peel off the remaining tape and reveal our badge. Congratulations, guys. You cut your first file.